Hey, this is Osprey from MyChartCoach.com, and in this video we're going to take a look at the stocks that were in play today, or some of the stocks that were in play today. These are some of the nice percentage gainers, and yeah, each one of these stocks in this video was charted earlier in the trading day, a lot of them at the start of the trading day in our premium chat, and so we're all on the premium channel now. We've narrowed it down to now there's just basically the key now is to get into the premium chat, and so if you can come on, I'll post the link at the end of the video, and you can check out the chat, and then send me a direct message, and I can get you in so you can check out all the latest information. Okay, so first up is TWMJF. Okay, so this is Canopy Growth, and this is the #1 marijuana company in the world. This is the top dog, and so this is a very interesting development. We had put out alerts on Friday that the chart was heating up, and there was really big follow through today. It closed up nearly 11%. You can see RSI's back in the bull zone there at 56, and then you have Fasto now above 80. And 56 in RSI, that's a signal that the chart is really heating up. Or I guess it was on Thursday that we had put out the alert, and that was on the close above that middle Bollinger Band. So notice how there was a break below the middle Bollinger Band on this red candle. The middle Bollinger Band is this dotted purple line, and so when it broke below, it signaled downside risk. And so on Thursday, that was the first close above since candles started forming below, and so that was a bullish change in trend. We put out alerts in the chat, and on our we have a marijuana chat. So put the alerts out, because this is what we've been looking for. We've been waiting this entire time basically we've been waiting for weeks for the move that happened last week. And so as you can see here, that 22 level is holding. It closed above that middle Bollinger Band on Friday, and then what we were looking for is a close above that green line, which is the 50-day simple moving average at 24.50, and that happened today. So it's following through. So this is very, very good. Now it has to stay above 24.50 now to be a good play. If it closes back below, similar to over here where it closed above on the 20th, and then it closed back below on the 21st, and then it pulled back. If that type of action happens again, if it pulls back, it'll signal consolidation, and it might pull back down to test that 22 level. So going forward, if it stays above 24.50, that is going to be your signal. Okay, Canopy Growth is back in play, and then it would be in play. Right now we're considering it in play for a swing trade. You can start riding now for a longer term swing trade as long as support holds. You could either use that 24.50 as your stop loss, or you could use the 22. Use that middle Bollinger Band or that 50-day simple moving average. It's up to you. As long as EMA4 at 23.36 support is holding, the signal is to ride. Okay, so now we have a bullish crossover on the MACD here, with the MACD line crossing over the signal line. And so why is this such a big thing? Well, because Canopy Growth is the sector leader, and so if Canopy Growth is doing good and it's heading higher, it will bring the rest of the sector up along with it. And so there are a lot of charts in the sector heating up, and I will post more marijuana sector videos. If you'd like to check out some more of the stocks in play, I recommend coming and checking out the chat. If you look back here in December, when it was trading below the middle Bollinger Band and then it got above, you can see a really nice uptrend followed. So we're trying to hit the beginning possibly of the next big run higher, and so keep an eye on this. It needs to stay above that 50-day simple moving average. Now look at the #2 top marijuana company. We arguably it is ACBFF, Aurora Cannabis, and they have a chart that's heating up as well. So we talked about Canopy Growth closing above that middle Bollinger Band on Thursday of last week. Well, ACBFF is following through today with the close above the middle Bollinger Band. So this is the first close above the middle Bollinger Band since January 29th, when support broke and it turned into resistance. So this is the bullish change in trend everybody's looking for. This is the signal to start riding for a swing trade, a long swing trade, as long as support holds. 850 is the stop loss level. You do not want to hold if it closes, you don't want to hold long if it closes back below the middle Bollinger Band, because that will signal more consolidation. It's only a good play if it holds above the middle Bollinger Band, and then it has to do one more thing. It has to break above the green line, the 50-day simple moving average at basically $9. If it can trade above 9, that's going to signal, okay, it's back in play, and then we'll be looking for a new uptrend to begin. So keep an eye on it. Notice MACD is pinched here on the 12, 26, and 9. You want to see a crossover there, and then there was a crossover on the 8, 13, and 5. So the chart's heating heating up. It just has to follow through. We do have more stocks in the sector. You know, IMLFF has been, we have a whole bunch of them. I went through NXTTF, GRWC for a US stock. There's multiple stocks right now in play. So yeah, come check out the chat. Okay, let's look at TROV. Yeah, and if you want to check it out for a free 24-hour trial, you're welcome to do that as well. Okay, so this closed up 33% today. This is heating up. It's at 68 here on RSI. Fasto's above 90. And so this made a bullish move today above that 50-day simple moving average in the middle Bollinger Band. So the green line, the dotted purple line, it broke both of those levels. And then it also broke above the closing price here on this white candle here. It broke above the 40 cents level. So that was the high close horizontal resistance level to break. And so it also closed above the top of the gap. There's a gap between low of day on this candle and high of day on this candle, and so there's a big space. And so, you know, it came up and it filled the gap right there. But it's always a tough level, as you could see how it double topped here at the top of the gap level. And so now it busted through. So as long as it can stay above this red line here, the top of the gap, that's going to signal more upside. And what you're looking for is a run up to that 100-day simple moving average at 48. That's the next big level to break. Now it is busting through the top of the upper Bollinger Band. As you can see, the last time that happened, it pulled back. And so if you're a bull, you're looking for a bullish change in trend. You're looking for it now to push higher. If it drops down below 39, that's going to signal that this previous pattern could repeat, and it could pull back. It's in a sideways channel here, you know, and it's hitting the top of the channel, and so it has to bust through and turn into support to head higher. Okay, look at INFI, closed up 31% today. So yeah, this busted out as well. It made the nice move on Friday. As you can see here, it closed above, it's difficult to see, but it closed above major moving averages here, but right below that 100-day simple moving average at 210. It also closed above this red descending resistance line on Friday. It had been in this descending triangle pattern, and so the break above that and the 50-day simple moving average, the 300-day simple moving average, the middle Bollinger Band, you know, above all those levels was a signal that it was in play. It just had to get above that 100-day simple moving average. That happened today with the gap up open, and then it broke above high close horizontal resistance from December and January. That was a really strong move, and now it's hitting resistance from back here in November. So if it can break this 280 resistance zone, you have right below $3 here from this October resistance, and then above October is that 370 level up there, you know, just above 370 for the high close. Now today's candle did close well above that upper Bollinger Band. If it pulls back into the bands, what you want to see is EMA 4 at 227, and then this previous high close turn into support. So you want to see it stay above, you know, 230 now. You know, above 230 would be bullish. If it breaks out above 280, you know, that's going to be putting the threes on deck. So keep an eye on it. We'll see if it can follow through. Okay, take a look at HEAR, closed up 19% today. So very nice move. You know, it's another one of those stocks that broke above a key resistance level. It broke above that 50-day simple moving average, the green line, currently at 47. That was your signal. It was ready to head higher. Notice how all these candles here, you know, hit that green line, and then they failed to break above. They kept hitting, and then today it finally broke above. That was your signal. Okay, it's in play. And then this was the high close on the January 29th, was the key level to break, along with that gold line, which is the 100-day simple moving average. It closed above both levels. So now you want to see it stay above 54. If it can stay above 54, you're looking at the high close here in January at 62, and then that 200-day simple moving average at 64. This is the target, the 62 to 64 zone. I mean, you do have a high close here in November, you know, at 59. It kind of hit that level at 58 there. You can see there were some closes. So yeah, it's got some work to do. Basically, if it can stay above 54, it's going to signal more upside potential. If you see it drop below 54, then it could drop down to 50 and test that EMA 4 support level. There was a nice volume spike today. So nice follow through for IBIO today. It closed up 20%. This chart has really been heating up. You know, we put out alerts last week to keep an eye on it, and then today it had the nice breakout higher. It did break out above that 100-day simple moving average at 23, so that was the strong move. It broke out above high close horizontal resistance, and then it also, once again, this is another gap play. It broke above the top of the gap. So this red line here is this is the bottom of the gap. This is the top. This is the bottom of the gap, the top of this candle, and the bottom of this wick here is the top of the gap. And today it closed closed above that level. So if it can stay above 25, that's going to be bullish. It needs to turn the level into support and then stay above that gold line, which is the 100-day simple moving average at 23. If it can stay above both levels, that's just a signal that this uptrend is intact and it's pushing higher. And then what you're looking for now is that 200-day simple moving average at 28. That's the big level to break. If it can get above that, then you're looking at the 300-day simple moving average at 33. Failed to break that 200-day simple moving average. Notice it's lined up with resistance back here in November. That could signal a temporary top. Today's candle did close above the upper Bollinger Band. It has a tendency, as you can see here, to work back into the bands when that happens. If that does happen, the main thing is that the 100-day simple moving average holds. If it pulls below that, closes below the 100-day simple moving average, it fails to stay above the top of this gap, those are red flags that it could consolidate before the next move higher. Okay, so take a look at MYO. This is another one that we've been following in the chat, been posting updates on a daily basis here. People have been talking about it. I post technical analysis for people that ask for chart requests. So, if you come in the chat, you can say, hey, what do you think of this this ticker symbol? And I can say, hey, look at this chart. And, we can share information and I can help you learn while I'm analyzing stocks that you're currently trading. It's a great way to learn in real time. And so if you look here at MYO, you can see here that this is a chart that we posted, I posted a couple days ago last week, and I did do a follow-up chart today, but I'm showing you this one just to show how I posted it last week. And you can see here it needed to break above this high close level, and then that happened here on Thursday, and so that was a good move. And then Friday it followed through. Notice how the close above high close resistance signaled more upside. But today, okay, so then the next key level to break was this closing price here in January on the 26th, and so today it did break above that level with the gap up open, but notice today's candle it is forming above the upper Bollinger Band. It's down here at 501, and so that does create a frothy setup. And what has created here is bearish doji star reversal pattern. Now I think that this could be debatable whether or not this is a doji, because it's not, the open and the close are not exact, but it is signaling the same pattern regardless, that this is a frothy move and the candles are likely to work back into the bands. Now they may not, but if you notice here that when this doji same pattern formed, they work back into the bands. What we're looking at is a possible double top at this level, okay, because it went down, came back up, and so it's going to be crucial now that it stays above this closing price, above 530, and then you're saying, okay, it's pushing higher. Now if you see it drop below 530, the gap between high of day on Friday and low of day today could fill, so it dropped down to that 492 to EMA4 would fill the gap. So you might see the gap fill, and then it could bounce off of EMA4, test resistance again, and break higher. If it stays above 530, that's going to be your bullish signal that it's ready to keep heading higher. Drop below 530, that's going to signal temporary downside risk. It could be a temporary top. Okay, let's look at NIHD. This is another one I keep posting charts on, on a daily basis. Some of these, penny stocks have been working out really good for people that are swing trading them. The base hits add up. You don't always need a home run to get some nice percentage gains. And this is a good example how it made the bullish move back here a couple of weeks ago on this big candle. After it turned the middle Bollinger Band into support here, and then got above the middle Bollinger Band, made the big move, and then it's just been stair-stepping higher. And so notice that all the candles have been closing above the pink line. That's EMA4 at 132. As long as that level's holding, it is signaling more upside potential. Well, now it's hitting the key resistance level, which is the closing price here on the 28th of February, and so it needs to break the 150 resistance zone. Okay, that was the open here on the 28th. The close is down here on this candle. The black candle forms when the stock closes up on the day, but it closes below the open. It's a sign that the bears were actually driving the price lower, and so this 150 level for NIHD is a huge level. If it can break above 150, hold the EMA4 at 132, that's a signal to keep riding. You could either look to at 150, if it fails to lock it in, I think that it's wedged, the candle's wedged between these two levels, so one of them are going to break here. Either resistance is going to break or support's going to break very soon, so just keep an eye on it. What we do when a stock's breaking out is we look at the weekly chart to try to find the next resistance levels. And so if you look at this NIHD weekly chart, you can see here it's been on a very nice multi-week run. Right now it's on a 4-week run, and this week it's hitting resistance from March of 2017. Notice the March high close, and notice how that's right at 150. You know, so 150 is a crucial level. That's why it's hitting it. It was a when this was pulling back in 2017, it temporarily bounced, and 150 was a weekly closing price, and so that's always a big resistance level to break. If you see it bust above that 150, then the next big level is going to be the 100-week simple moving average at 174. That is the target if this uptrend continues. Now this week's candle, notice how it is floating above that upper Bollinger Band. Sometimes when that happens, it signals it's getting a little ahead of itself, and the candles will work back into the bands. If you're a longer term trader, you know, if you're riding this a little longer term, as long as EMA 4 at 117 is holding on the weekly chart, you know, the chart's still strong, and the signal is you can keep riding for a longer term swing trade. Now if it fails to break that 100-week moving average, that could be the double top level. You know, notice how it's lining up with resistance from back here in 2016, November 2016 support, and so yeah, right now you just want to keep an eye on it. You know, there was really big volume behind the move. If it busts above that 100-week moving average, that's going to be very bullish, because as you can see here, the 200 and 300-week moving averages are undefined. So it could really get cooking. Yeah, so we're going to keep an eye and see if it stalls out here, if it can bust above 150. Okay, ITUS, another one that we've been posting daily charts on, giving updates. You know, people have been trading this. You know, it's been slowly bouncing and working its way higher. And so as you can see here today, it finally had that nice close that everyone was looking for above that green line, the people that are trading this. It's a 50-day simple moving average at 346. So that's signaling more upside potential, along with the close above high close resistance here at the 360 level. And so the next big level to break is going to be $4. Notice how these two candles closed right at the just above $4, this red line. And if it could bust above that, then you're looking at this cluster of candles around 450. Okay, so this is going to be a big zone to break. Notice how that was a big resistance zone. So you could, you know, it's going to be resistance the next time it's tested. So yeah, just above $4, 450. If it stalls out here at this $4 resistance zone, what you want to see is you want to see 360 turn into support. Whenever you break above a high close horizontal resistance level, when tested, you want to see it hold. If it drops back below, it could work its way back into this channel. Right now, it's trying to bust out of this sideways channel, you know, and head higher. I mean, you know, you could say that, you know, you can see here it has ascending support right here, so it's got this triangle pattern going. Yeah, and it just broke out. You know, it broke out above this ascending triangle type pattern, and yeah, it's got a nice upturn. We'll just see if it can keep it going. Okay, let's look at IPI. This is another one to keep an eye on. You know, we posted I posted an alert on Friday that this had closed above that middle Bollinger Band, and then today it came out and followed through. And so what it was doing last week was bouncing off of this 200-day simple moving average support level, kind of a double bottom zone for this thing. You know, it's not the prettiest chart, but you can see here it hit a bottom in February, came up, you know, retested the bottom, and then it got above, just above that middle Bollinger Band on Friday, that dotted purple line, and that was a signaling to more upside. You can see here when it closed above that level on the 29th, it ran up to the 50-day simple moving average, and that was the top. And so it got above the level again on Friday, and it ran up to the 50-day simple moving average again. So when you see patterns like this, you know, you try to anticipate. You know, when we saw that this broke above and ran, breaking above on Friday was your signal. Okay, yeah, this has a chance to make another move back up there, and that delivered nice percentage gain. So congrats everybody. You know, 10%, you can't shake your, you know, that's nothing to complain about. Okay, but now in order to head higher above the 50-day simple moving average at 397 is the key. If it can stay above that level, that's going to be a signal it wants to break out higher. If it drops back below these levels like it did right here, that's going to be your red flag. So going forward above the 100-day simple moving average and 50-day simple moving average signals more upside potential, and it could really get moving. It's currently trading above all the moving averages on the chart right now, so that this is a very bullish close. It has to basically, you know, bust through 4 and stay above $4. If that happens, then you're talking about, you know, testing these prior resistance zones. Okay, so this is a cool move for IPI. As you can see here, you know, it's always nice to to draw your descending resistance line. And so when you have a line like this and you have a break above, that's very bullish. You know, that's another signal that this is wanting to head higher. You know, it was in a downtrending, you know, channel here, and then it busted above, you know, descending resistance. That's another clue that, hey, it looks like it's this trend could be changing, and this might be the move that it wants to make a, you know, this might be the time it wants to make that move higher. You know, yeah. So we'll keep an eye on IPI. Look at SAEX. I'm going to finish with a couple of energy stocks here. You know, the penny stocks have been heating up. The volume is not big on a lot of these, but they've been returning some nice gains. And what happens a lot of times is the volume starts off slow, and then as people catch on and the share price keeps moving higher, people pile in and it heats up. And so like there have been multiple plays, LGCY, JONE. There's been a whole bunch of these energy stocks that we posted charts on, and then they followed through and headed higher, and then the volume increased as the share price rose in value. And so that's what could happen here with SAEX at you know, only 274,000 shares traded today, but it did close above 50 on RSI. You want to see Fasto get above 50 as well. And so today the bullish close was the close above that middle Bollinger Band. I just gave you multiple examples of what can happen. I'm not saying it will happen, but what many times does happen when you know, the candles are above the middle Bollinger Band, the dotted purple line. My colors are always the same in all my charts to make it easier for people that are learning. And then you get the drop below the middle Bollinger Band that signaled the downtrend. It tried to get above here, but it couldn't, and it kept going lower. And then today is the bullish change in trend. And so this is a simple way to try to spot a trend reversal. And so now if the middle Bollinger Band at 169 holds, that signals that this new uptrend should continue. Now it's got work to do. You know, it has the 200 or the 50 and 100-day simple moving averages here. You can see this long upper wick when it tried to break above before and pull back. So basically, if you see it trading above 204, that's going to signal it wants to head higher. If it can stay above 170 and hold that middle Bollinger Band, another close above that level, that's going to be confirming, okay, yeah, this is turning into support. And then if it can get above that 50-day simple moving average, it could run back up to that 200-day simple moving average at 240. Notice, you know, the last time that it made this type of move above the middle Bollinger Band and held, you know, it ended up getting back up to that 200-day simple moving average. So that's the upside target that we're looking at here. And you can see here, even though 240,000 shares is very light volume, you can see it is an increase in volume over the previous trading days. And so what you have here is a larger volume on up days, right? And so that's a signal that people are loading. Okay, so very light volume on the down days. It's just there's not a lot of interest in the stock. So yeah, with you know, oil rising, the energy penny stocks that have been overlooked are a nice way to, you know, get some exposure to, you know, some small cap exposure and possibly get some nice percentage gains. Okay, let's look at ENSV. This is very thinly traded as well. Another energy exploration stock, you know, back above 50 on RSI, back above 80 on Fasto, and the exact same setup. You know, so that's the thing with us. The patterns never change. The only thing that changes are the ticker symbols. So we're pattern people, and we're just looking to try to repeat success. And you know, if it's not broken, you know, why try to fix it? And if it closes above the middle Bollinger Band after it's been trading below for an extended period of time, you could say this candle here, you know, that signals a change in trend and possibly more upside potential. So that's what we're going with it. Until this doesn't work, why not keep repeating it over and over again? And so now if that middle Bollinger Band at 855 holds, then a new uptrend could begin. And so now it's just all about that. You know, you have your stop loss set at that level, you know, that 844, 855 level. You know, with penny stocks, it's better to have a mental stop loss because they will stop you out. But this is a full Marubozu candle. It has a Maru however you pronounce it. It's got the no upper wick, no lower wick. It has this shows that the bulls were in control from the first trade to the last trade of the day. So very, very bullish. You know, it does have light volume. It is heating up with the PSAR bull flip. It has the you know, little volume spike, and then you've got the MACD lines pinched here on 1226 and 9 and starting to cross over on the 813 and 5. Okay, so it's all about follow through for these plays, and you don't want to get caught holding the bag. So if you know, they do drop back below EMA 4 and 8 there, you do not want to be holding. You know, it's a risk to hold anything long that's forming candles below EMA 4 on the daily chart. Okay, thank you very much for viewing this video. I'll post the link to the chat below the YouTube video. Please come check it out. All right, thank you. Have a great night.